Hello and welcome to another episode of Put Me in Coach on episode 114, Diamondbacks versus Padres Game 2. Lineup of today, Max Kempler at left field, Kenta Marte at second base, uh, Lars Newbar at DH. Fortunately enough, that is one of the trade deadline we got from the Cardinals and stuff. Pretty good player overall. And stuff. Tim Tower at first base, James McCain at catcher, and Ryan Wolfsman at center field, and the rest is the same. And stuff. Jorge Barroso came in to pitch hit as well. Later on, top of the eighth, Jorge Barroso did came in play center field, and then Ryan Wolfsman went to center field to left field. So that's pretty much of that. I would say 50-50 overall. The people who did not get a base hit is Carroll, Kempler, Marte, Newbar, Tim Tawa, and the rest did get on and stuff. Perdomo went 2 for 4 and stuff. He's like the only one did get more than one, and then the rest pretty much just got one hit overall and stuff. Not too bad and stuff. But that's pretty much of that. So again, 50-50 overall and stuff. Even Barossa got a base hit. So that's basically something like that. Pitching wise, overall of enough. Starting pitcher of Eduardo Rodriguez. He won 6 innings, gave up 11 hits, struck out 4, walked none, and gave up 6 runs. So fortunately enough, this is probably the worst game Rodriguez has pitched, and so gave up 11 hits. That's not good, and especially enough of giving up a ton of runs in the early of the game and stuff. Like right away in the first inning was like 3-0, like easy way of enough, and it's just like that's just not good and stuff. And fortunately enough, he kind of eased off a little bit at the end and stuff. Also, he was kind of pissed off by he thought enough of he wants to keep going, bro. You gotta look at the score. To be honest, of enough, like you are giving up more runs and more hits, and you think enough of you want to keep going. If you were doing better and not giving up a lot of runs and not giving up a lot of hits, then we might see another inning out of you and stuff, but you're giving up so much, you don't deserve enough to going for more innings than enough. So there's a thing where enough of work more harder to go for that, and then if you're not working hard, then you're not going to get the chance enough of what you want and stuff. So that's just my opinion overall and stuff. It's just he didn't look good and stuff, and the Padres were just ready for him and stuff. So it's weird because he was an all-star this year and stuff. It's a possibility that could be just the difference of it and stuff. A lot of people were saying enough. It really helped him overall because of the World Baseball Classic. He was part of the Venezuela team. Venezuela actually won the World Baseball Classic, and he also did pitch in the final game against Team USA. So fortunately enough, he felt pumped with that, and possibility gave him confidence of it and stuff, and that's why he was doing so well and stuff, and he's like basically our ace and stuff. So now after the All-Star break and stuff, he's not doing so well and stuff, and that's the weirdest thing because everybody else is doing great. Because like before, everybody was struggling and stuff. Like Gallen was struggling, Kelly was struggling, Michael Sorka was injured and stuff. There's people coming in and stuff. Ryan Nelson is injured at the time and stuff. So like we were struggling so much, and then fortunately enough for Rodriguez, like is just not doing that. Like he's not struggling. He's doing work. Like he's getting wins overall and stuff, and he's like actually pitching very well and stuff. And now after the All-Star break, he's going downhill, and everybody around him is pitching. Like Brand Fa is doing so well, Kelly's doing getting a lot better and stuff. Mitch Bratt and Cole Drake are doing good as well. So it's so weird now. This is the opposite, where enough of we're seeing Rodriguez is actually falling apart, where enough of the rest of the other starting pitchers are actually doing pretty good. So I don't know what is literally going on with Rodriguez. He got to get back together with it, because again, we really need your help overall and stuff if we are going to get to playoffs overall. And we really want to push that, and we're in the wild card overall and stuff. Fortunately enough for this loss, we are now not tied with the Phillies, and the Phillies are over us in the wild card. We're still in the wild card spot. If like the playoffs does like ended at this time, we'll still be in the playoffs and stuff. But again, playoffs are till October and stuff, and we're not even there and stuff, and it's not even September. This is the beginning of August and stuff. So we got to get through with August, get through September, and possibility have a chance enough of see if we can get to in the playoffs in October and stuff. But we're not there yet and stuff. So we got to get what we can get to tribute to the team to get to that point and stuff. And we really, really need to not lose games at this time in this moment, where enough of we're playing teams are also trying to go for the wild card, and also in our division and stuff. So that's just another thing to think about and stuff. So it's just like I don't know what was going on, and I just think the Padres were ready, and maybe they saw something, blah 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 here and there. I have no idea and stuff. So that's that. And yeah, no, you're not gonna get more innings because of what you want and stuff. You want to tribute to the team, do better next time and stuff. If you want to get more innings and stuff, work hard to get that chance and stuff. And then Padres pitcher was Randy Vasquez, I think is how you say his name, last name and stuff. He did really good. He won 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, struck out once, walked none, gave up no runs and stuff. So I never heard of this guy and stuff. I've heard he was on the Rockies or something like that and stuff. I don't know, it's pretty good and stuff. It's crazy enough the Diamondbacks only got 2 hits off of him and stuff. Fortunately enough, that's just not good overall for the Diamondbacks, but good for the Padres and stuff. So again, it's not a really good matchup with Rodriguez, because Rodriguez just sucked today. So that's that. And then the Diamondbacks bullpen was Ryan Thompson. He's going downhill. I don't know what's going on with him. Paul Sewell came in and stuff. He did pretty good and stuff. Corello came in, and then Jonathan Lizkia, and yeah, Lizkia just didn't do well enough to give a chance enough to get back in the game, and fortunately that didn't happen and stuff. We would still lose the game, but it just didn't help enough. It gave up another run and stuff. So that's pretty much of that. So bullpen is not doing so well in that game and stuff. So that's that. Scoring overall enough of I kind of took down a little bit things out there, so just not talk about the whole thing and stuff, and take out the boring stuff. I only put one boring stuff, and you probably can see why of enough, because I do want to just talk about a little bit and here and there and stuff. But fortunately enough, these are the ones we are going to talk about, and the 3 of the ones that we are going to talk about is exactly the same person, and he's probably the reason why enough of the Padres actually won the game. And who that is going to be Manny Machado, because Manny Machado was like literally 3 for 4 in this game and stuff. Absolutely insane. And it's crazy enough of he is actually doing poorly for the Padres and stuff, and somehow enough of he wasn't poorly against Rodriguez. So That's something. And so Manny Machado with a RBI double to make it 1-0 top of the first. Manny Machado with a 2 RBI single to make it 5-0 top of the second. And then Manny Machado with a RBI single to make it 7-0 top of the sixth. Freddie Freeman hit a RBI double to make it 8-0 top of the seventh. Nolan Arenado with a 2 home run to make it 2-8 bottom of the seventh. And then James McCain with a 2 RBI to make it 4-8 bottom of the seventh as well. It's crazy enough with that home run. Like, it was like base hit, home run, walk, force out, home run. It was kind of crazy how that is and stuff. And then also James McCain is like tied with something with Paul Goldschmidt and Luis Gonzalez or something like that. I have no idea what it was, but something about home runs or something like that. So yeah, or it's like left field side. I don't know, something like that. I don't know. But the final score was 4-9. The Diamondbacks did lose. Their record now is 60-54. We are one low down of the Phillies and stuff, and we're probably more 5 away from the Cubs overall and stuff, because the Cubs just keep winning overall and stuff. So that's that and stuff. So this is another chance enough to going downhill and stuff. We need to pick this up. This is, we were on like a 5 winning streak and stuff, and now we're going downhill and stuff. We're not going downhill. If we're losing and stuff, we might go downhill, but fortunately enough, we don't want to do that and stuff. Progress, just like, they just need to keep going and stuff. Like, they can do the job. It's just a matter of fact is who's pitching and who's going to do a good job against that pitcher and stuff. So it's just a little bit weird overall and that and stuff. And then pitching wise, they need to get a lot better and stuff. Rodriguez needs to do a lot better. Ryan Thompson needs to do a lot better and stuff. And if you were trying to have a chance enough to get back in the game, and it's a little bit close games and stuff, like we're trying to get like four runs in the game and stuff, and it's like 8-4 or whatever and stuff, and then you get another 1 run in the ninth and stuff to make it 9-4 and stuff. That's not gonna help and stuff. So we gotta have a compete game with the opponent teams as well, so we can have a chance to have a crazy comeback, because have done before and stuff, and we can do it and stuff. It's just a matter of fact of the timing, the people, and the person is going to show up and actually do the job. So that's pretty much of that. So that is that. Yeah, it's crazy enough of we got Lars Newbar and stuff. Crazy enough about him and stuff. I'm honestly enough excited and stuff. He's not really like a huge baseball player overall and stuff. Like, his name is not like top of the list. Like, he's like top, I don't know, he's in the top 100 overall and stuff. He's just a player, he's like a Tim Tawa situation and stuff. Like, he will put his name up there if he does show up and stuff. And he's active, he's there to literally play baseball overall and stuff. He can do good, he can do bad or anything and stuff, but overall he is a pretty decent average baseball player overall and stuff. So if he can really attribute to the team and actually do a lot of damage against the opponent teams and stuff, we might have a good trade overall and stuff. He can hit base hits, he can hit home runs and stuff. He was pretty good for the Cardinals overall and stuff. Maybe there's a little confidence enough of welcome arms from Nolan Arenado, because they were teammates on the Cardinals as well with Paul Goldschmidt and stuff. So got a little friendship with that as well into the team and stuff. And then he was also in the World Baseball Classic. He actually played for the Japan team in 2023 with Shohei Ohtani, and they actually won the finals and stuff. And fortunately enough, Lars Newbar actually helped the Japan get to the finals and win the finals overall over Team USA and stuff. But still over pretty solid and stuff. He probably got some learning disability from Shohei Ohtani of how to hit and all these things and stuff. He's a great defense in the outfield and stuff. So we'll see. Fortunately enough, he went 0 for 2. He only walked twice. Probably ground out, strike out probably a couple times and stuff here and there and stuff. But this is his first debut as a Diamondback, so fortunately enough, he will just probably get the groove. Like that's what Max Kempler a little bit of enough when he came to the Diamondbacks. He struggled to the beginning, and till the time enough of the shell comes out, he's hacking at the ball. He's doing good at defense, and I think Lars Newbar just can do exactly the same thing. The only thing is the difference of Newbar and Kepler is just one has steroids and the other one is not. So that's the other thing about that. But yeah, and I would definitely say Newbar is probably a better player over Kepler just at this time and stuff, because Kepler did had a great 2019 pull off and with the Twins and stuff, but Lars Newbar, it's pretty well like up there, pretty good player when he was on the Cardinals and stuff. He wasn't a superstar, but again, he's just a name out there to be a good player. So that's overall on that and stuff, and he's just gonna put his name out there, just like, hey, like, I'm playing, just what it is. So that is that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.